So, screen resolution is becoming a really big deciding factor in the smartphone industry. Screen resolution is one of the main specs that people are being interested in for some reason, even though it's not really a big deal, without seeing the numbers. Especially the tech YouTubers are paying a lot of attention to it. And so in this video, I'm going to be, telling you guys why the screen resolution 1080p is the ideal screen resolution that, should be in all smartphones, and why it is better than 4K or QHD Plus, which is 14. For one, it will save more battery. Now, obviously, this is the case, as Samsung has been proving this, in the past, when they used to ship their smartphones with 1440p screens, when you turn on the power saving feature, they would toggle the resolution down all the way to 1080, and even 720, because this will help save more battery. And this is a benefit, for a lot of people. A lot of people want, a longer lasting battery life on their phone, and that's why 1080p resolution helps. And the third thing is that obviously it's cheaper. When you get a 1080p screen, a smartphone with a 1080p screen, of course, the manufacturer used this to cut down on the price of the phone, and this is like they depend on it as a useless thing, which it is, because you don't really get to see the difference between a 1440p screen and a 1080p screen. And a lot of people have tried, and the average person won't be able to tell the difference. And only if you have like a sharp eye, you'll be able to tell the difference, but you can't tell the difference. So, and then they're cutting down this price, even though it's just a small thing. But this small thing has been, has dropped the price of the phone massively. Because as you can see, all the majority phones out there have 1080p screens, and only the high-end ones have 1440p and Quad HD screens, which isn't really that much of an important deal. Secondly, it helps with performance. Now, obviously, having 1080p screen helps with performance because, number one, the CPU doesn't have to push a lot more pixels, especially in gaming. That's why 1080p, that's why displays with 1080p and have a powerful processor have higher frame rates than displays with higher resolution, because the CPU gets to push lower pixels, and when you push lower pixels you get higher frame rates. And this is obviously the logical thing when it comes to gaming, and obviously stuff that depend on frame rates. Having a 1080p screen can feel more responsive than having a higher resolution screen. Really, the final thing is, you can't tell a 1440p between a 1080p and a 1440p screen unless you have a keen eye. Now, listen, if you are an average user, there is no way you'll be able to tell the difference. You have to look at displays constantly to tell the difference. You have to put them side by side, and even there is difficult, because displays, when you look at a smartphone, this is not a TV. When you look at a smartphone, the biggest smartphone is 6.9 inches, which means it's like this big. I mean, you can't even tell the difference. There are people who can't even tell the difference between those resolutions on tablets. So how do you think you're going to be able to tell them on your smartphone, especially if you have, visibility struggles or things like that? I mean, there's no need to pay high-end money for Quad HD displays, and in my opinion, those higher pixels are just more way for the companies to get money from their customers, and this is just more ways for you to pay more money and, pay for a useless feature, really. So I think you should stick to 1080p and let it be the ideal resolution. And although there is even another benefit, when you record 1080p video on your phone, you wouldn't just be able to see the full resolution on your smartphone. You would also, this will be a lighter, project to upload to YouTube, and it will save you even more storage, because the 1080p video, of course, is going to be lighter than a 4K video, and you're going to be saving, much more space. And mostly everyone who watches YouTube, most of them watch on their smartphone, so having that extra detail really doesn't come in with help. Now, you can record with 4K, that's a different story, but if you want to see the video with the same resolution as you recorded it with all the pixels being present, 1080p is the way to go. So thank you guys for watching. See you later.